Okay, you all set, yeah?
Good to go, mate. Good to go.
So, mate. Okay, so this is episode 2 of the Bon Jovi Talk podcast. I'm here with Aaron. Obviously, Aaron, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. I'm a pretty big Jovi fan. Saw the band for the first time on the Bounce Tour, 2003. Seen him another 14 times since then.
Wow.
Seen Richie times by himself. Yeah, I'm pretty much a diehard. Forked out hundreds of pounds to go to the upcoming tour in the UK next year. So, yeah, I'm a staunch advocate of the band, really.
Well, that was one of the topics I was going to speak about. It's actually the last podcast I done was before the tour got announced. So, obviously, the first thing I was going to speak about was the tour. So, what do you think of the European tour? You're happy with the dates, the venues?
I've got to be honest, I was slightly surprised with the venues. I've fallen, obviously Richie's absence and John's vocal state. I thought perhaps they downsize a little bit and play maybe smaller arenas. But
yeah.
I guess the fact they're playing lesser shows, fewer shows, means they can set out the stadiums. Also, it's easy to forget it's been 6 years since the band came over. So there's still one there, as you've seen, because the tickets are selling fast.
Yeah.
Anfield will be good. I'm a big Liverpool fan, so it'll be the first concert I've been to at Anfield.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know whether the band's ever played there. If they did, it's got to be when the very first album came out. So that should be a really good atmosphere and a really good occasion. And obviously the whole Wembley thing as well, given the debacle a few years back when the guys were meant to open it. That should be a pretty special concert as well. There'll be a lot of motivation for them to put on a show there, I'd imagine.
What do you think of Wembley being announced? Obviously, that I had a little bit of hope that Anfield would be played. Something was telling me they were going to play there, but Wembley just completely shocked me, to be honest with you. So, what do you think of Wembley being announced?
Yeah, well, on the Anfield front, I'd heard whispers that they were going to do Anfield. I'd heard they were actually going to be the first concert there, but I believe take that title, which is a little bit surprising, but. They go on Wembley. That really took me aback, I must say. I didn't think John would ever agree to play Wembley again because that situation surrounding the rebuild that didn't end well. I think there was a lot of resentment on John's part. So surprised that they're doing Wembley, but it would be a really good show, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
it would be a really big, and I'd imagine everyone would be firing on all cylinders because they feel I have a point to prove.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's been 18 years since they last played Wembley. So you know, obviously they've kind of put on a good show, really, more than ever, I'd say, because it's going to be tough. I mean, tickets seem to be doing well as far as I'm aware, but I'm sure we'll see some pop up here and there, won't we? Obviously they always have stuff on Groupon and deals.
Yeah, I mean, the day the Wembley ones went on sale, I couldn't get a ticket with it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Thankfully, it's some more cropped up. Hopefully, some more cropped up later in the day. I was just refreshing the browser without work, which I probably shouldn't have been doing. But yeah, they seem to be selling faster than I predicted, certainly. But it just shows that the back catalogue speaks for itself, and obviously the legendary live performances they've put in over the years. They've built a strong following over here, which doesn't seem to be going away. So fair play to them for that.
Yeah. So what shows are you going to be then?
At the moment, I'm just doing Anfield and Wembley. There's a strong possibility I'll do. Is it Coventry?
Yeah, they're doing Coventry as well. Yeah.
Strong possibility I'll be doing that as well, but I've got to try and save some money before then.
Yeah. Well, Coventry is the one the only one that we're kind of leaving at the moment. It's like, for me, it's just a bit of a. I want to say nothing show, but it's hopefully it won't, because it's the last one on the UK leg, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm not sure if it's a nothing show. It's a random show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I think when you've got obviously the big stadiums in terms of Anfield and Wembley, and 2 nights at Dublin, just before it, you kind of go Coventry. Like that's kind of not one that you'd expect.
They do throw in a couple of those every tour. I think they've played Hull previously, haven't they? I saw them in on the Circle tour. They do throw in the random show. before, so
yeah,
another opportunity for people to see them, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd have thought that Coventry would have been kind of in the middle of the two shows. Maybe that's what I mean. It's more if it was in the middle, you kind of go, "Oh, they're playing Coventry," but I think with it being the last show, I don't know. It's just a kind of a, it's Wembley.
You'd would have thought Wembley would have been the closer.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean. Yeah.
For sure.
So obviously we've got the show up. What do you think of the prices? Because a lot of people are surprised that I say cheap, how cheap they are, and then some people are obviously surprised at how expensive they are. So you've kind of got that divide already, haven't you? Really?
Yeah, I mean, ticket prices are a contentious issue. I'm not sure if you saw the interview, about 9-10 years ago, where John was on This Morning over here.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Schofield questioned him on ticket prices.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to go down very well. Yes, it's a contentious issue. I mean, about a decade ago, I thought the tickets were ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
I don't think they've gone up as much as I'd expected them to in that time. So the price was kind of reasonable, really. I mean, you go to see any act these days, and you're going to be paying more than £100
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and that's not just for Bon Jovi. That's for the likes of Springsteen, who's meant to be a working class kind of artist.
Yeah.
He's still charging, a bomb to go and see him. Artists make money now through tours because they don't sell the albums they used to. So it's hard to begrudge them in many respects.
Yeah. Well, my sister's going to see Take That at Anfield. And she's going in I think she's in the Kenny Dalglish stand, and the prices for the seats. I mean, I'm going to go gold for Anfield because obviously it's like a dream come true as a Liverpool fan like yourself. But the price for the seating, I'm sure she said it was like £100 or something for the seating, and you're going £100 for a seat. It's just, as you said, it's not just Bon Jovi or one or two bands anymore. You can't. It's the average price now, isn't it?
Sadly, that's just the way it is. I mean, like I said, it's the main source of income for the artists these days. And John, he's very business savvy. I'm convinced he still wants to buy an American football team.
Yeah.
And he'll keep touring until he's got enough to achieve that goal.
Yeah, I think so as well, to be honest with you. Okay, so obviously prices, we spoke about venues, we spoke about what you think about set lists. Are they going to mix them up? Are they going to play? Are they going to suit John's vocals in terms of, obviously they've done the American leg, and the kind of that we got was always, a couple of shows. These days, a couple of shows. Are they going to go one step ahead and maybe play the likes of Hey God, Something to Believe in, them type of songs, or are they going to play it safe, do you think?
I really hope they vary it up.
Yeah.
Look at the set lists on the This House Is Not For Sale tour today. They've remained fairly static.
Yeah.
And unimpressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
My concern is actually quite right to say. I mean, John, he's my hero. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy, but vocally, he's really struggling.
Yeah.
Which may limit the chances of seeing the odd curveball thrown into the set. Like you say, on previous tours, we've seen the likes of Hey God thrown in.
Yeah.
Even the likes of Damned.
Yep.
These days got a few air-ins last time they were over. I'm not sure he can manage those now.
Yeah.
Certainly not the way he could do. The thought of John doing Always in 2019 is quite worrying, to be honest with you. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hit those notes without doing himself some damage.
Yeah.
But typically, they like to reward the European audiences with some rarity. So fingers crossed we get a few thrown in at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing the 2 nights at Dublin, and the main reason I'm doing it is, well, obviously I've done Slane, and I was slightly disappointed with that show because the Irish shows are usually known, aren't they, for the major set lists.
Yeah, I mean, John usually pulls it out the bag for Ireland.
Yeah.
I saw them in Dublin, I think it was 2011.
Oh, and, at the RDS.
They did 2 consecutive nights there, and the set lists were fantastic. And in fact, it may well be the best I've ever seen the band.
Yeah. I can see why, to be honest.
Yeah, another factor obviously is the new guys in the band, and obviously Phil, he's not. I guess he's not new anymore, as he's been there quite a while now.
Yeah.
But it's just making sure that they're up to date with all the rare songs, and they've rehearsed them in preparation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they're rehearsing. Well, they were rehearsing a couple of days ago, and you know, it's Phil X is obviously traveling around doing the things with the drills or whatever else he's doing. But you'd think, obviously, if they can play 30 odd songs or however many they're playing, 25 songs, you can surely expect, you know, one or two set list changes. And I'm going to say that, like, it doesn't even have to be the likes of Hey God or Damned, you know, like I was saying in the last podcast, something like I'll Sleep When I'm Dead opening the show kind of blew me away in some ways. And if I went to Anfield and that opened up, I'd go, wow, that's already, it'd be amazing because it's different. Certainly for me, who's never seen that open the show before. So like things like that, I'd like to see. It doesn't have to be, obviously, as I said, the really rare songs that they play once or twice. But I think, as you said, they're quite static.
The artists have got to like balance an act, haven't they? Because you get, you know, diehard fans like ourselves we've seen them multiple times on the road.
Yeah.
But then you've got the casuals go and they expect to see certain songs. So I'm not expecting the likes of Prayer or Bad Name or Bad Medicine to be dropped, and even I want them to be.
Yeah.
But the likes of, I mean, I've heard that song so many times live.
Yeah.
I've got no desire to hear it again, and to just have that swapped out for something different. I mean, even one of the cut-ups from the Bounce album, for instance, just to vary up a little bit, refreshing if nothing else for the band.
Yeah.
Because you know, when those songs are played, you can't tell me the likes of David and Tico on autopilot, and John himself as well.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of variation, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in Europe because historically that's been the way they've thrown in the rarities.
Yeah.
You know, over in Europe and the UK in particular. So fingers crossed we get some good shows.
Yeah, I am hoping so. I mean, I was saying to my girlfriend last night, you know, I hope, because we're doing like days or something, I hope it doesn't get to the fourth show and the first 3 nights of being almost identical, do you know what I mean? And you kind of go, geez, like we're paying X amount for we're going to pay X amount for the same type of show, but I suppose that's the risk, certainly now, that you kind of got to take if you want to go and see them, that is.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally the first 6 or 7 songs would be fairly standard, and then they'd vary it up, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I think they will. I'm confident. You know, it's been 6 years since they've been over in the UK, and I think they'll want to make an impression and remind everyone what a great live band they can be.
Do you think? Obviously, I mean, I don't know if you watch the videos that get uploaded. It was once a week, but it seems to be every 2 or 3 weeks now that the band are putting up on YouTube.
Yep.
What do you think of them performances when you're watching?
I made a comment on the Jovi Talk forum a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I've actually downloaded those performances and put them on my iPad.
Yeah.
I think there's been 13 in total so far. I enjoy them more just listening to them when I'm in the car with my headphones on.
Yeah.
Watching them is tough at times because I think John looks in pain trying to reach some of the notes.
Yeah, he does.
But if you close your eyes, it doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed them uploading a video a week. I think that's been really good. I think they should make more of their social channels. Actually, I think that's been something the band struggled with.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one the last couple of weeks, has there? I think the last one was a whole lot of leaving.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that was about 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a fortnight or so. So hopefully that doesn't stop when the shows resume, because it's been a nice treat every week for the fans, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I dread listening to them because, as you said, well, I dread watching them, as you said, because obviously you look at John and you kind of see someone who is trying, but obviously is in a lot of pain, or certainly looks like he's in a lot of pain. But then I also look forward to them because you kind of still think, no, actually, it could be pretty good. Like, there's things like the Keep the Faith one, where vocally it was a little bit shaky, but watching it, I was like, yeah, this is like, you know, Phil X was like a man possessed on the guitar, and you kind of go, yeah, do you know what? Got the buzz back to go and see them. Or you know, things like Lay Your Hands on Me, where you actually do hear John hit a high note. As daft as that sounds, you kind of go, no, he's still got something there. So I do think it is good that the band are doing this now, or the management team or whoever's doing it. I do think it's a good idea, to be honest. I just think I wish we got it obviously a few years ago when shows were incredible, really.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I visited the official Bon Jovi website, for instance, but the days when I did, there didn't seem to be many updates.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, the videos from the tours. I mean, don't forget they do film and record everything.
Exactly.
There was no reason why they couldn't upload videos like they're doing now 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
When obviously they were on fire live.
Yeah, that's true.
State than they are now. So it's a shame, really.
Yeah, I do wish that did go back to, you know, everyone always says, oh, there's no demand to buy stuff anymore. So, for instance, say they released, you know, the Dublin show from 2011, people would say, oh, there's no demand to buy DVDs or Blu-rays. But as you said, they film everything. So why not give us 3 or 4 songs from that show and then 3 or 4 songs from one of the O2 shows or something? You know, that I think that would be a good idea to get people interested again, I think.
100%, and you've only got to look at the YouTube views. I mean, they're in the thousands, the high thousands.
Yeah.
Videos that have been up a week or two. The demand's there.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you think of the musical output these days, all the albums seem to go to #1 in the States.
Yeah.
They've got a loyal fan base. So there'll be no danger getting people to watch those videos or buy DVD releases.
Yeah.
The demand's always going to be there, in my opinion.
So, like as you said there, the band always go to #1, certainly in the States. The second time that they re-released This House Not For Sale, obviously, was with tickets, wasn't it? So they gave people a free album with a ticket. Do you think, and I think this is a missed opportunity myself, do you think they should have done that this time around with Europe?
I haven't given that much thought, to be honest with you, but yeah, it certainly worked in America, didn't it?
Yeah, I just the last time they had the #1 album was Crush. That could have possibly got the band certainly back. I mean, obviously, This House Is Not For Sale went to #5, I think. It certainly could have got it back higher than that, I reckon, if they released it with. I just think it was a bit of a missed opportunity here. It's not something that
you're spot on thinking about it. But it's strange they didn't go down that path.
Yeah,
it worked so well in the States. I'd like to know the reasons why they didn't take that approach over here.
Yeah,
there must be a reason, I guess. But
yeah, there's got to be some sort of reason, because, as you said, they done it there, and I just think it did. When I say flopped, it didn't massively flop in terms of, you know, it didn't to top 10, but it certainly wasn't as good as anything for a long time. And you just kind of think, you know, that could have got the promotion back up a little bit there. Seeing Bon Jovi back in the charts potentially could have went to #1. I'm not saying it would have, but there's always that possibility. Obviously, if they're selling that many thousands of tickets in the UK, there's obviously that chance that it could have went to #1. And I just think they've missed the trick there.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, John, I think, has hinted that there may very well be a new album out before the show here happen. Perhaps that's something they've got up their sleeve. If there's still tickets left, perhaps they'll put a package together next summer.
Yeah, possibly.
I'll have to watch this space, I guess.
Yeah. So obviously we spoke about the tour, the venues, the set list. What do you think of the band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Obviously, well, nearly a year ago, isn't it? Coming up to obviously nearly a year ago that all this happened. So, what did you make of the performance?
I think it was announced last December, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like I can't believe. Yeah, I can't believe how quick that's gone, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But what did you think of the performance? Was it again? We speak about the YouTube videos. Was it kind of a little bit too late in terms of, you know, showcasing the band of how good they are live, or, you know, does it not really make that much difference?
I think, first of all, it's nice to see them be inducted. I mean, it's long overdue. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has always been a political institution, hasn't it? Really,
Yeah.
That's the reason why the likes of Kiss didn't get in for so long, and there were people certainly involved in the selection process that don't like Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
So as soon as it went to a fan vote, I was in no doubt that they were going to win that.
Yeah.
And I guess things kind of just flowed from there. I thought the occasion itself was brilliant. To see Richie back with the guys, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And actually quite moving in many ways to see Steve and John harmonise together again.
Yeah, it was.
My only issue, if I'm being honest, was I think it should have been the original guys up there.
Yeah.
I can understand Hugh obviously being in situ, that made total sense, but it irked me a little bit to see John Shanks up there, to be honest with you. I thought he had no place on that stage whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a real slap in the face to Richie, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But it was still a great occasion. I think the standout performance for me, funny enough, was actually When We Were Us.
Okay.
Just to see Richie and John
together on the mic.
Share a mic on that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a song that had particularly resonated with me, but I think to see the two of them sharing vocals on that, it kind of took it to a new level, and it just reminded you what a great duo they were.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it was quite. The word would be probably emotional, really. Not emotional in the sense that it made me cry, but I remember, seeing them on the red carpet, and I was like, oh my God, like they're actually back together here. And then, as you said, seeing them, hug each other and things like that, I was just like, gee, like, at the time, I really didn't like Richie, just because, in my opinion, he did walk out. But obviously, each to their own on that subject. But when I seen him back, I was like, no, I want him back.
It's a touchy subject, that one, isn't it? I mean, people have very strong views on it and very different views. I mean, I think Richie belongs in the band.
Yeah.
I think if he ever made it clear he wanted to return, I think he should be allowed back right away. I can't see it ever happening.
No. No.
But that night, if it was to prove the last ever performance, at least they had that. It had been 5 years, I think, since they'd even seen each other.
Yeah.
So it was good to see them share the stage one last time.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, the performance for you was When We Were Us, and I quite like that song. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say, but I do think vocally that was really poor for John on that performance. But I actually do think it's quite a hard song to sing myself. I was saying this to one of my mates last night, that I think that's one of the hardest songs lately.
Well, you say it was a poor performance. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw did they do an iHeartRadio early in the year?
Yeah.
Just when that song was released, I thought he really struggled with that.
Yeah.
I thought at the Rock Hall performance with Richie John vocally, I think more than people realised. And for me, that was made obvious that night.
Yeah.
Richie's vocals are a very important part of the band's sound.
Yeah.
And sadly, that's something that, for me, is clearly missing on The House Is Not For Sale and Burning Bridges before.
Made me really miss Richie was It's My Life, to be honest with you, on that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Again, the backing vocals. There was a certain time, I can't remember what part it was, but I literally went, oh my God. Like, it felt like It's My Life from years ago. Just hearing Richie back, it felt like Bon Jovi again. And as you said, it's there was members who shouldn't have stage, to be honest with you, at that time. But it just felt like Bon Jovi again, just hearing Richie singing that while John was lead vocal. It was just, it did make me miss Richie a lot more than I already had, to be honest with you.
So you weren't obviously not very happy with the way he departed. What are your views on Richie now?
Do you know what? Like, it wasn't so much how he departed. I think because of how many times I know he has problems, and I don't, I'm not blaming him for anything like that, because you don't know obviously what goes on in someone's life. But I think just the fact that it happened so soon, and I think because favoritism really. I've always been a John fan. I've always loved Richie, of course, but John's always been the, like as you said, the hero. You know, could you say? And I think at the time I was just thinking, you know, I'd already bought tickets for shows at that time, and you just kind of think, you know, you're walking out here, and then you see him do interviews, and I just didn't agree with stuff at the time, to be honest with you, and I actually didn't go to the solo show that he done, you know, after he left the band. I went to the Aftermath one in 2012, and I absolutely loved it. One of the best shows I've ever been to be honest with you. But I didn't go, and it was just because I just couldn't be arsed with him. Not that I know him, but I just couldn't be bothered paying money to see someone who potentially could bail out again. And then since then, I've listened to the RSO album once, and I wasn't a fan, I must admit. But now I'd take him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I really would. Just after the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show, I just thought, no, you know, I still kind of watched that just to watch the band again, just to see them all on stage. That it just brought back memories of the band I grew up loving.
Yeah, I have to agree. I also went to the Aftermath tour, and I'm not sure I've ever seen Richie in such good shape. I mean, he sounded great. He was playing great. Seemed to be having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, he looked in good physical condition. And it's crazy to think, you know, less than a year later, that was completely different. I saw they came over and played. I think it was the Hard Rock Calling Festival. They were on the bill with Aerosmith, and he looked completely different.
Yeah.
He didn't look with it. I still enjoyed his set list, of course, but it was a definite decline.
From,
12, 18 months earlier.
Well, like for me, as you said there, you know, we seen him both. Did you go to the Shepherd's Bush show?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So we went to, obviously I went to that as well, and it's mad that was saying, obviously he did sound great, I thought, and he was in very, very good spirits, and it was a fantastic show. As I said, I loved it, but coming home the next evening, he'd already cancelled shows in America, hadn't he?
You know, weirdly, I think that was a night it all fell apart. I say exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and
the show, I think, because of, was it laryngitis, but many people speculate it's because of low ticket sales. And I almost felt like we saw the last great act of Richie, I guess.
Yeah,
it's been down since then, sadly.
Yeah, it's very, very strange, like how that. To be honest, that's kind of obviously because he walked out on the band. I say walked out on the band. Obviously, we don't know the story, but because he'd left the band, that side of stuff kind of got forgotten about again, didn't it? How we kind of.
I must say, obviously, he walked out, but I guess we'll never know the full story.
Yeah,
but I don't think he walked out.
What's your opinion?
I think, as John's hinted at in interviews, I think he probably fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
In a break between shows.
Yeah.
I'd imagine he probably wasn't in a fit state to play. Was it Calgary the first show back?
Yeah.
And you know, by all accounts, John got told that quite late in the day. He didn't have a Phil X on standby or a Matt O'Ree on standby.
Yeah.
Had to play the show with just Bobby Abandera, and I'd imagine for John that was probably the last straw, because as you said earlier, it's happened a few times, hasn't it, in recent years? And I think from that point onwards, it's probably just been a matter of pride.
Yeah.
I imagine neither of them have bothered to pick up the phone to one another.
No.
Which is quite sad.
Yeah.
But I think if you gave Richie the option, I think he'd go back to the band tomorrow. I think he said as much at the Rock Hall press conference afterwards, didn't he, when they asked him whether he'd contribute to the next album, and he basically said, well, I would have John asked me.
Yeah.
Which was quite an awkward moment.
Yeah.
I think that was an admission from him that, you know, he wants back in, but I'm not sure he's going to be given that opportunity.
It seems like lately, obviously the past 6 or 7 years, that kind of whatever Richie's doing now is not kind of lasting, is it? You know, obviously he done the clothing with Nicky Lund, I think that was the name.
That's right, yeah, White Dress Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the one. Then he obviously done his own solo album, which again, obviously band priorities. He didn't. I say band priorities. Obviously, John kind of spoken about rushing him back. He didn't get to obviously fulfill the whole thing that he wanted to with that, which it's a shame really, because I loved the Aftermath album, and I'd have loved to have seen, you know, him do more TV shows or whatever else. Obviously he's the RSO, you know, with Orianthi. You know, nothing seems to stick lately with him. And you wonder if he's...
I think Richie is just like that, sadly.
Yeah.
You know, John is just extremely driven, and you know, he's a very clever guy, John.
Yeah.
Workaholic always has been. Richie's a bit more of a free spirit, and dare I say, quite lazy at times. I mean, he said that he was rushed back for the What About Now album.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, Richie had a long time to do that solo record, his third solo record.
Yeah.
Undiscovered Soul was released in '98, I believe. Aftermath came out in 2012. I mean, there was certainly, you know, the band were quite prolific in that time, but there were periods where he could have released a solo record, and I just don't think he got his shit together and did it, sadly.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just a shame the way it all came to a head, I guess.
I agree, but then also on the flip side, the band have never really had a year's gap, have they? Apart from pretty much 2012. So obviously 2000 to 2001 was the Crush One More Night, and then 2002 to 2003 was Bounce, and then they had the box set, then Have a Nice Day, and then Lost Highway, The Circle. So they kind of haven't had as much as the 20 years that Richie had, or 20 plus years that Richie had to make another solo album. They kind of didn't even get a year off, really.
Yeah, no, you've got a point there. I mean, that's kind of history repeating itself. I always find it quite amusing when you see John interviewed and he talks about the band being burnt out after the New Jersey tour because they'd done 4 albums back to back, consecutive tour, and they were just shot.
Yeah.
And how he wishes somebody had advised him to take a break. Well, he pretty much did exactly the same thing after It's My Life came out and was his big success with Crush. I mean, he worked the band non-stop, and you know, you could say credit to him. It's kept them at the top of the charts.
Oh,
kept them relevant. It made them the biggest selling tour in the world multiple times. But it's kind of ironic that he harks back to that New Jersey time and says that they probably worked too hard, and many people would argue they're doing the same thing now.
Yeah, it is. I kind of like how the structure in the tours lately, you know, kind of slowing them down, I guess. Because as you said, you know, you don't want things to get stale. So I must admit, I am looking forward to the Australia and Japan shows that are coming up. Just because you don't feel you've had a long tour, so you kind of want to see them again. You want to see if they do actually mix stuff up, because now they're out of America and Australia always get fairly decent shows, to be fair. So
it'll be interesting to check the clips, won't it, and just give a little taster ready for the UK shows next summer.
Yeah.
A careful eye on those.
Yeah. So actually, that's a good point. I'm not sure what's after. So after December, when they've done the Australian leg, is there nothing? I could be totally wrong, but is there nothing till Europe then?
Not that I know of.
So that's a pretty big gap, isn't it?
It is a big gap. But as you said, perhaps they are scheduling a little bit better these days. I mean, you've got to remember that they are getting on.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you.
Tico's mid to late 60s now, isn't he? I believe. So, you know, you have to take that into account, sadly.
Do you think? Obviously, you've got, you know, that the whole burnt out thing, and obviously, you wonder why. Like, I always wonder how come they've slowed them down, and obviously age does have a big factor. You know, John genuinely can't move around the stage like he used to. But do you think the reason behind that is because of his voice? Do you think it's to rest his voice? Because over previous tours, I've always found he kind of starts off a bit shaky, and as the tour goes on, a lot of the time he seems to get a bit stronger, and then he kind of declines coming up to the end part. Do you think the band should have done a long consecutive one like they usually do, or do you think they've done it right with obviously how his voice is? Do you think he's structuring it right to get the vocal coaching, to practice, to rehearse, to do whatever else?
I'd like to think he's getting advice on that front. I mean, he's got a vocal coach, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure quite how effective they've been. On John, it's difficult. I struggle to. I feel like I can criticise him because I'm such a big fan, like yourself.
Yeah.
I don't like it when others kind of have
yeah.
a go at him. But the facts are that he doesn't move around as much as he used to. I think that is because he's nervous about how he sounds.
Yeah.
He wants to focus fully on hitting the notes.
Yeah.
I actually think that has the opposite effect. There's videos on YouTube that we referenced earlier. You know, he's a lot more mobile and running around the stage, in fact, at times during a bad medicine performance. And I think he sounds a lot better because he's focusing less on the vocals.
Totally agree.
When he stands there and grabs hold of the microphone for dear life, it's almost like he's thinking too much about it.
Yeah.
And it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's like anything else, isn't it? If it's kind of, you know, happening, then you don't think about it. But if you've got time penalty, for instance, for Liverpool, you kind of got that player who's focusing on a certain spot, and it's a lot of pressure. But it's the same with John. Obviously, if he's bouncing around on stage, he's kind of the showman's back rather than the singer, let's say.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's what a lot of people pay the money to see. They pay to see the showman.
Yeah, I would much sooner pay to see John moving around the stage than clutching at the microphone and struggling to sing. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Guns N' Roses last year, and Axl Rose. I actually thought he got stronger vocally as the night went on. I thought he started shakily.
Yeah.
Either way, he was all over that stage like a demon. I mean, he was incredible. And you know, you don't care if they miss the odd note if they're that energetic.
Yeah.
Putting on that great a show. And I think John needs to loosen up a little bit and go back to his old self a little.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you there. And as I said before, I am actually kind of looking forward to. I'm not hoping for a miracle, but you kind of do wonder if, you know, as John being working with his vocal coach, has he improved slightly? As I said, I'm not expecting a miracle, but has he slightly improved over the past couple of months?
I think the fear on that front is his voice just sounds very thin, doesn't it? Very weak.
It does. Yeah.
And I don't know whether you can get that back unless you go down the surgery route, which is obviously very risky. I'm not sure he'd do that at this stage in his career. I just hope it doesn't deteriorate further, because then it's going to become a big problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I was watching the Damned. I don't know if you listen to or watch any of Damned TV's performances that they put up on.
Yes, it's a fantastic channel.
Oh, they're brilliant. I absolutely loved them. Well, I clicked subscribe on my YouTube page for the week, and they put up Roller Coaster from the Palladium, and I'd say it was either before or just after Bon Jovi had put up Roller Coaster from one of the American shows on their YouTube, and I already noticed a big difference in John's vocals in that time. Like, it sounds like he's deteriorated slightly since then.
Yeah, so that Palladium show was when the album was released.
Yeah.
What, 6 months later or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's worrying.
Yeah.
A decline like that over such a short period of time. We just got to hope somehow, like you said, it rallies and it improves for next summer.
Yeah, I do hope so.
Because although, you know, in the studio they can cover those kind of cracks, live it's going to be exposed.
Exactly. And do you know what? Do you think they'll get a lot of media coverage in the European tour, or certainly the UK tour? Obviously, doing Wembley and Anfield. I'm going to say media coverage. Like, you know, do you think someone like another Report is going to show a clip of the show or anything? Because again, you know, that like I kind of get a little bit. I used to look forward to seeing the band on, you know, performance. Worried.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'll get a fair bit of coverage. I mean, there's been quite a bit of promotion for the tour that I've seen more than I expected.
Yeah.
But you're right. I kind of don't want them to appear on the likes of X Factor or Strictly Come Dancing or anything like that these days, because I don't think it would be good for their reputation at the stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're going to find out. It's been a long time since they've been over.
Yeah, that's true.
How long it's been. So, I'm sure they'll still get a fair columnists in the newspapers, and they may well appear in news bulletins, like you say.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see whether that's changed or not.
I don't know if you've seen any of the performances that John done recently. So he's done like a couple of like events, hasn't he? Like almost like business events. I don't know if you've seen. He's been playing the House of the Rising Sun, and I
haven't seen that. No.
Well, vocally, he genuinely sounds very good. I'll send you the link later. He's done it 2 or 3 times, the past 2 or 3 shows, and he sounds very, very good on that. It's mad how I find there's a couple of songs that he still has it, and then he'll go back to a basic song, for instance, like Lost Highway, and he sounds awful. And it's crazy how some of the higher parts he's nailing, but the lower register songs he's not.
So that's is it the Kings of Suburbia?
Yeah, well, I don't know whether he was actually with. To be honest, there was no promotion for these. I don't know whether he was just almost like a guest at this event. To be honest, I just randomly woke up, and obviously on the Bon Jovi talk page, I get sent some links, or I just see it on my feed, and I was like, oh, he's done a show last night. And when I clicked it, there was quite a few videos, and he did sound quite good. If I'm not mistaken, he done songs like It's My Life and I think Bad Name, and he sounded decent for today's standards. Like,
okay, I'll have to check those out.
Yeah.
I mean, just touch upon the King's Project and the, well, I guess solo shows you call them that he does. I think he sounds better generally in those.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's singing in a lower register and a lot slower.
Yeah.
I think he did a Living in Sin performance not too long ago.
Yeah.
Those guys, which is quite impressive actually.
Yeah.
And I've often wondered whether that was the route he'd take longer term, you know, and just kind of tone things down a little bit. And do records like Not Running Anymore and Old Habits Die Hard.
I thought the same.
I guess the fear for him is whether that would pull in the numbers.
Yeah. Do you think he'll ever do another solo album?
I hate to sound morbid, but I think he'll probably do a solo project when the band breaks up for whatever reason. You know, if there comes a time when, say, Tico has to retire, or you know, David decides to bow out or whatever. I think that's the next time we'll see a solo record. I hate to say it, but from John's perspective, he's selling tickets without, you know, so a lot of people only really know John.
Yeah.
I thought they'd struggle to shift tickets here without Richie, and I've been proven wrong on 2 occasions now.
Yeah.
So he's got the name. So I can't imagine him doing anything as John Bon Jovi until the band is officially retired.
So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see a John solo show because it's something I've never experienced. I mean, I certainly won't pay, you know, the Runaway Tours type of prices, but I'd love, for instance, you know, when we seen Richie in Shepherd's Bush, I'd love something like that where, you know, it's you know, 50, 60 quid the ticket, let's say, because I think Richie was what, 30, 40 quid, you know, let's say.
It's reasonably priced.
Yeah, you know, let's say, you know, at Shepherd's Bush, you know, 50, 60 quid, you know, I'd love to see John do stuff like that. But again, you know, it's could he sing a lot of the older stuff?
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
If John was to do a solo record, do you think John Shanks would produce it?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. Yeah, I can't see him. I can't see him going with anyone else until, as you said, he quit. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's really sad.
Yeah,
but I agree. John Shanks has far too much influence on the band sound these days, and I think he takes a lot of responsibility for the way the records have kind of become too similar sounding.
Yeah.
I think it would do John and the guys a world of good just to break away from him and just go down a different path. But I guess we're almost resigned to the fact that's not going to happen now.
I think obviously the fact that now he's on tour with them is just, as you said. I mean, I haven't seen Shanks, you know, like personally live with them yet, but I must admit, I just don't get it.
It sticks in my craw to that stage, I must say. You know, him and John are obviously very close friends. I'm sure he's become a bit of a confident for him, and he obviously trusts him in terms of the production of the records. But I don't think it should be anywhere near that stage. It really bugs me.
Yeah,
it really frustrates me as a fan. I think whatever happened with Richie, I'm sure that John Shank's presence kind of escalated that, because John himself has admitted that it became him and Shanks that were the primary songwriting duo towards the end.
Yeah,
that can't be right.
No,
not when you've got the history you have with Richie.
Yeah.
And all the records. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the modern stuff, but it is too similar in sound.
Yeah.
And, up because it's going stale, and even the diehards are getting frustrated at the output, I think.
Do you think Shanks gets a lot more stick than he deserves, or? I mean, he's producing an album, so he's not exactly robbed the bank in terms of getting a lot of stick he deserves. What I mean is, obviously, you're on the Jovi Talk forum, you follow Bon Jovi Talk, and there is a lot that a lot of negativity. I'll use that word instead of the one I just used. Do you think he gets a lot more negativity, like negative comments, than he should?
I don't think he's shy in giving a bit of stick himself, is he? From what I've seen. I listened to a podcast with him recently.
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, I don't think he came across that well.
Did he not? No, I haven't listened to this.
No, I'll have to send you the link. But he's not shy in bragging about his achievements. And to be fair, he's had a lot of success. I mean, he's worked with the likes of Take That you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He's crossed a lot of different musical styles.
Sorry, the sound's gone off again there. Is that working?
I can hear you.
Yeah, the sound went off again, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, whether he gets too much stick, it's difficult to judge that because we'll never be in the inner sanctum. We're not sure how much influence he has. But I think John would do the band a lot of favors if he just changed things up.
Yeah.
Even if just for one record,
Yeah.
I think in keeping Shanks on board, to me, that suggests that they're still chasing the hit. And at this stage in their career, I don't think they need to do that.
No.
I mean, they could produce a great song like We Don't Run, for example.
Yeah.
If that had been released in 2000,
that
could have been a big hit. But at this stage of their career, that's not going to happen.
No.
So I think they'd be well advised to stop chasing the hit and just produce some organic music. Stuff like these days.
Yeah.
That just seems so natural and so authentic.
Yeah.
And it's a shame they're not doing that at this stage of their career. I mean, John's 56 now. If he's not doing it at this stage, I'm not sure if he's ever going to. So.
No. Yeah. I do agree with you there. I think obviously with this whole new band, new sound, quote that John was using when they were coming back with this house and off for sale. I do think a new producer. It was the right time for a new producer, not for. Oh, actually, I have seen Shanks live, haven't I? At the Palladium show.
That's right. Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah. Did you know what? I think because I was on the other side, I didn't even realise. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I think obviously, I think this house and off for sale would have been the opportunity for a new producer, because as you said, it's almost like a new band now. With
it is. I call it John Bon Jovi and the B Street Band.
Yeah, yeah. It's. Do you know what I wish was? I wish that Phil had more input as well. Though I don't get that.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I mean, Phil is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's never going to be Richie, but he's a damn good. He's a damn good replacement.
He is.
And he's got chops, and he should be let loose on records.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think he contributed to 3, maybe 4 tracks.
4 it was, yeah.
For sale.
Yeah.
I mean, that's outrageous. It's
it
scandalous.
Is. Yeah.
That again annoys me. You've
got
a great guitarist there who I think John pretty much admitted is now an official member. So let him play on the damn record, man.
Exactly. And you kind of wonder why he's not, because I was saying on the last podcast, there's a lot of songs that Bon Jovi do where they'll play, like minimal, like there's hardly any guitar on the actual album, and then when it comes to the live shows, there's an extended outro or an added guitar solo added in somewhere, and you kind of go, put that on the album, get you know. If you're not interested in the album, you're not really going to be interested in listening to the live performances of it. My brother was a huge fan of the band, and he's not a massive fan of This House Is Not For Sale. I must admit, he likes a couple of songs, but he's not going to listen to any of the live performances because he's not a massive fan. Whereas if a guitar solo got added in, I'm not saying that makes a song, but that could bring a bit of the Bon Jovi sound back. Just let them loose for 30 seconds or so with a decent solo.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that there's no apparently there's no chance of Phil collaborating with John in the songwriting process either. That's kind of been shut down, isn't it? I think people have asked Phil on Twitter. And he's basically said, I'll help out if I can ask, which again suggests it's a really close knit group. John Shanks and a couple of trusted songwriters, and no one else is breaking that up at the moment.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame that it's, as you said, we've got a very talented guitarist, a decent songwriter. Obviously, he writes songs himself. If he's now classed as an official member, as you said, as John has said, get him in the mix. Get this new sound that the band kind of need. Let them have a bit of energy and certainly in the studio and stuff. And this is coming from someone who actually likes This House Is Not For Sale, but I still think a lot of work could have been done on it.
Yeah, I think it's a strong album, I must admit. It's not these days.
Oh yeah,
I try not to compare that stuff to these days when, in my opinion, they were the top of their game, the pinnacle of their career. It's a good album. I think it would benefit from more guitar, certainly.
Yeah.
And like I said, it just bugs me knowing that when I listen to that record, it's Shanks playing and not Phil X.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just being harsh on Shanks. I'm not sure.
As I said, it's. I think obviously Shanks gets a lot of criticism, and I'm presuming in his way he's trying his best, but when as you said, when it's kind of the same old thing over and over again, and some of it's just so overproduced, you just kind of go,
Yeah, you say that. Do you know what was interesting? That the Burning Bridges album, that had a couple of tracks on it that were a little bit different.
Yeah.
And a change of direction, and it was almost like they were prepared to take a risk on that because it wasn't a proper album, I guess, in many respects. It was a commitment to the record company, wasn't it? They gave it next to no promotion.
Yeah.
And it was almost an opportunity for them to, just take a chance.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that record. You got tracks on that like Who Would You Die For? That's fresh, that's modern.
Yeah, I agree.
But then This House Is Not For Sale just went back to the tried and tested formula, which was a little bit disappointing. I say that because I do like the album. But I just think they could have gone a step further with it.
Yeah, I do. I have to agree with you there. Right, so in the first ever time I done a podcast was, it was all about my top 5 Bon Jovi songs. With the last podcast that I'd done, the first official Bon Jovi talk one, I asked someone to give me their top 5. So I'm going to end this with you doing the same thing. So again, I haven't asked you to do this, so it's not like it's planned. I'm kind of asking you off the cuff, but the people are going to get used to this. So the people are going to be writing down their top 5 soon. But what's your top 5 if you can think of a top 5 on the spot?
I'd have to say These Days would be my favourite. I just love that song so much. I think the piano intro is just magical. The lyrics are fantastic, and as I said earlier, I think the band were at the top of their game there.
Yeah,
they were firing on all cylinders. The songwriting was fantastic. That's a great song. That means a lot to me.
Yeah. Good choice.
Second, Keep the Faith.
Okay.
Probably be next up. Brilliant song, which comes to life when it's played live as well.
Yeah, it's
to another level.
It's a fantastic song live, I must admit.
Yeah, I mean the guitar outro.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Phil does it now, but Richie back on the One Wild Night tour, I think they did I'm not sure they actually released it to DVD, but they certainly did a program that went to TV.
The giant show on VH1, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was called One Last Wild Night. No, it was just absolutely amazing, scintillating.
Yeah, I love that performance. John does that long scream.
That's right. Yeah. I guess he has a weird kind of jacket on.
Yeah. Which one?
Not sure how the guy ever went into fashion with anything like that. Next up, maybe a bit of a surprise. It's My Life would probably be next up because it kind of introduced me to the band.
Okay.
I probably haven't heard a song more in my life than I have It's My Life.
Yeah.
God knows how many times I've seen that played live and blaring on my speakers and stuff. But I still remember. I think I was 10, maybe 11 years old. I was flicking through the music channels at home, and it came on. I just heard that talk box, and I was like, "What is this?" And I remember I asked my dad to go out and buy me the CD. Never got bought for me, and he brought it home and said, "You do realise these guys aren't a new act, didn't you?" Which I was surprised by.
Yeah.
And then he gave me Crossroads, and obviously I heard Prayer and Keep the Faith, and yeah, that really introduced me to the band. And that was an exciting time to be a Bon Jovi fan as well.
Yeah.
It was fresh. And they'd taken a little break. They came back, and they were great.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of fondness for that song. And it's also a great song. It still sounds fresh now. It still sounds modern. Doesn't sound dated at all, despite being about 18, nearly 19 years old now.
Yeah, I must admit, I've always liked It's My Life, but it's kind of the same for me with Prayer. It's not something, that I'll put on my iPod or something.
Oh, yeah, likewise, I'm not going to scroll through my iPod.
Yeah.
It's My Life on by choice, but if it comes up on shuffle occasionally, like, oh yeah, that's still a great song.
Well, there was if I'm not mistaken, I think a couple of months back there was I either was listening to stuff on YouTube on the telly, or it was on telly, like a little Bon Jovi show, like top 10 songs or whatever, and It's My Life was on, and do you know what? I genuinely forgot just how good that song was. I've always loved it. I'm the same as you. It got me into the band, that song, and when I hear it live, it still gets me now. But I just completely forgot just how good it is. John's vocals, the guitar, that's a proper band.
I think the video helped as well.
I mean, video, yeah.
I actually think that won some awards. I mean, when you consider they've been away for 5 years or so, that is a great comeback.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Comeback video, a way to re-announce yourself. I mean, they were cool back then.
Yeah, it was a fantastic way to come back. That. What's this one? Number 4, is it? Next.
4. Again, I don't want to get too soppy, but in terms of ballads, I think you're hard pressed to find a better ballad than Always.
Yeah, Always is my favourite.
Always is a brilliant song. It's crazy to think that it was discarded for so long. I think John kept it on the shelf, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And it was one of their management team at the time, or producers, picked it up and said, you should really cut this and really became a monster hit. And brilliant song. Talking about videos just now, the video's weird.
Yeah.
But the song is fantastic. And again, I think it's another one that maybe not so much now, but when they played it live as recently as 2011 and the Circle tour, I mean, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Taken to a new level.
Yeah.
And it became a little bit of a treat because it wouldn't be a staple necessarily. So when they kind of dusted that one off, it would go down well with the crowd.
Yeah, it's still that's my all-time favorite song, really.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily. It's mad. I say it's my all-time favorite. Again, it's not something I listen to regularly, but it's a song that with just one night I was listening to it out the blue. It just came on shuffle, and it just John's vocals with it. I just found incredible, and the guitar, and I was just like, wow, like this song is incredible. But I still listen to the likes of Hey God or Something to Believe In or whatever, something that, like, more than I do Always. But all time, it's my favourite song, and I'll never ever forget hearing it live for the first time ever.
When was that?
It was City of Manchester, 2008. So they were playing Diamond Ring, and I was like made up that I got to hear, because that was the first ever These Days song I'd heard.
Right.
So they were playing that, and I was like, oh wow! And then next minute, as soon as that finished, the drums went for Always, and I've actually got it on video. My reaction, my mum was filming Diamond Ring for me on my phone while I was enjoying it, and as I turned around to take my phone off, she still had it recording, and next minute I heard the drums, and it just went mad.
When those drums come in, it's a great moment. Were you at the Hyde Park show in, I think it was 2011?
I wasn't, unfortunately. No, I was. I went to the Old Trafford, not the Old Trafford, the Cricket Ground show. I was still.
I was there as well. I think the Hard Rock show was a week or so later, wasn't it?
And it was the next night.
That night. Oh, was it?
Yeah. Well, I was in.
I didn't sleep much that night. That week, I should say.
Well, I was in sixth form at that time, so I was only 17, 18. So I didn't have a job. I was, on like 30 quid a week or whatever, or 30 quid every 2 weeks, whatever the EMA was back then. So literally the one show was all I could muster, and I thought, I'll go to John likes Manchester, I'll do Manchester. I won't go to a festival type show, as that's what it was called, the Hard Rock. And I remember listening to Absolute Radio the next night, absolutely devastated that Hey God got played. Lay Your Hands on Me got played, and I got a pretty average show, really.
I thought Manchester was good. I think we got Dry County, didn't we, if I remember rightly? I'm trying to cast my mind back now.
I could be wrong. I don't know if we did. I don't know if we did at the... possibly. To be honest with you, shows that have got played. So it's kind of rolling into one with Dry County. Something's telling me it never got played, that show, but I could be totally wrong. I might have to.
Going back to always that Hard Rock show, they kind of made out that they were finishing, and then John turned around, got the cameraman to zoom in on a banner that was being held up that said "fuck the curfew," and then straight after that, they went into the drums. And, that was brilliant. That went down so well.
Yeah.
I'd have to say that London show, along with the Dublin one. Again, I can't remember if it was after or before, because those couple of weeks kind of blur into one. I was flying between Scotland and Ireland and all sorts. But the Dublin and London shows were hard to beat, I'd have to say. They were brilliant at that point.
The Dublin shows, my sister had a prom on the night of the Dublin shows, and I remember sitting in the car with my dad waiting to pick her up. And I just remember seeing the set list. I was like, wow, Fountain's being played as opening. Wow, Damn's being played. I was just going through the set list, like, what is going on here? Like, surely this isn't correct. I was thinking it was like one of them hoaxes on Jovi talk. I was like, half of these songs haven't been played. And then obviously YouTube videos started getting on. I was like, oh my God, they actually have played these songs.
Yeah.
It was like really good, really two great shows, them two.
Yeah, it was a good tour. Good tour in general.
Brilliant tour, yeah. What's your second one? Sorry, your fifth one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're on to number 5 now. Without wanting to sound too obvious, you can't have a top 5 that doesn't include Wanted.
Really, yeah.
I love Wanted. I'd never tire of hearing that song. We mentioned the Rock Hall show earlier. I cannot believe they didn't play Wanted Dead or Alive. And part of me thinks it's because maybe things are still a little bit frosty between John and Richie.
Yeah,
very much.
I have to agree there.
A song that they're both at the forefront of, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a brilliant song. That's one of the great rock songs. And again, I've heard that thousands of times, I'd imagine, but it's still got to be in my top 5. And I always enjoy hearing it live as well. It's fantastic.
You're not going to like me. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Really? How come?
I don't know. I honestly, I couldn't say. It's just never got me. The guitar solo I absolutely love the guitar solo. I think it's one of the best ones. And obviously the I've Seen a Million Faces line, but I've just never really connected with it. And I'll be honest, I've probably listened, I'd say in the past few years, more to the This Left Feels Right version than the studio.
That's an interesting record. I'd say "Wanted" on that is probably one of only 2 songs that I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a decent version. It doesn't compare to the original version, in my opinion. But it's listenable.
I don't know what it is. When I went to the 2013 show in Manchester, my girlfriend went for the first time, and she really hated Wanted Dead or Alive. Just couldn't get into it. But when we went to the show, I was like, no, actually, if you go to it live, the crowd get into it, and it is a boss song live. And to be fair, she was like, she was blown away by Wanted Dead or Alive live. So it's just one of them songs. I don't dislike it. I've just never had that connection with it. It's not something that I go, oh yeah, it's come on.
That's interesting. You've got to be one of the few Bon Jovi fans.
I know.
But each to their own, There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's just different tastes.
I don't know what it is. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's just something. It's a song I've just never connected with. And as I said, I don't dislike it. And if I see it on the music stations, I'd never turn it off or, anything like that. But it's just a song I don't think it's in my top 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Not that I've got a top 50, but I genuinely don't think it's up there for me, like in my top 50 anyway.
Okay, it's different opinions.
Yeah,
isn't it? That's the great about music. It's music without prejudice. Everyone's got their own taste.
100%. Yeah.
Answer as far as I'm concerned.
There's like some songs that I don't know if you heard, like the past 2 podcasts, obviously, that I've done. Like I think everyone's had completely different top 5s, which obviously you kind of expect, but it is amazing.
You know what might be a good question to ask future contributors is to name 5 songs post 2000 actually, because
go on.
That might be a bit.
Yeah, go on. You can be the first then. I'll do mine after yours.
I've set myself up now. Are we including Crush, the album?
Yeah.
I've already said It's My Life, so that would have to be in there.
Okay, yeah.
It becomes a lot harder, doesn't it, sadly? I love The Only Rule.
Yes.
Great song.
Yeah.
From the Circle.
Yeah.
Again, another one that really brought to life live. John's fantastic when he performs that live. I wish they'd put that in the set lists.
Yeah.
Because even people that haven't heard it before, I think they grow to appreciate it when it's performed live.
Yeah.
They really ratcheted it up to a new level.
It is a brilliant song.
Oh, what else? I'm going to pick something from What About Now, which is probably a bit of a surprise, but Thick as Thieves.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think that's a good song. It
Okay.
took me a while to get into it, but now I really appreciate that.
Yeah, okay.
What's that leave us? 2 more.
2 more, yeah.
I'll tell you one it won't be. Who Says You Can't Go Home?
Oh,
that's one song I'm touching.
Jesus Christ, no.
That's probably the one song they desperately need to drop from the set list.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, that going to number 1 in the country charts was the worst thing to happen to us die fans, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What else? Have a Nice Day is a good song. I still enjoy hearing that live.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great song. What's that leave us with? 1 more?
1 more, yeah.
Trying to go through the albums. We had Crush, Bounce, didn't we?
Yeah. Have a Nice Day. Lost Highway. Circle. What About Now? Burning Bridges. And then This House.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that last one, to be honest with you. What about yourself? Have you managed to put together a 5?
Okay, so off the top of my head, I'd say Love's the Only Rule. Straight away, it was a song that got me. And as you said, live, it makes it even better. So that's number 1 for me. I don't know if I could do them in order, but that's certainly number 1 for me. Broken Promised Land's got to be in there as well for me.
Oh yeah, I'd agree. If he without a Thorn in the Side, Thorn in My Side would complete my 5, I think. Yeah,
I think. Again, Broken Promised Land, the intro instantly got me, and then it's quite catchy. It's quite. I love the chorus, I must admit, and then it's just one of them songs that I hadn't heard for a while. It was only a couple of weeks back. I hadn't really listened to it for a while. And my sister had it on. For some reason, she had that song out of all the Bon Jovi songs she could have chosen. She had that song on in the car, and it was the first time. And you just think that's such a good song that you never really hear of from any fan.
Yeah, that got me the first time I heard it. I still love the Circle album. I think that's their last great effort, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love the Circle. So 3 left. I would say, Who Would You Die For?
Yeah, okay.
Again, I was on holiday when I remember like a 30-second snippet come on like Amazon or iTunes or something, and it was John's vocals, like obviously where he shouts at the end, and that for me was just like, oh, I can't wait for this song, and it was just so different. So that's in my top 5. I'd actually say a Teardrop to the Seas as well. I kind of what'd you say? Sorry.
I'm just going through my iTunes. I'm just
okay.
A couple that I should have included, like Just Older. You Want to Make a Memory. I'd include those in there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But carry on.
I'd say like a Teardrop again, just because it's kind of different to what they've done in the past 20 odd years. It's quite dark. You kind of feel like obviously John's got a bit of a point to say.
That's the great thing about that album. It's just it's just different. It's a bit unexpected, wasn't it? So
I remember obviously John said This House Is Not For Sale was kind of like his sit down album where he gets everything off his chest, but for 50% at least of Burning Bridges has that. I think that
if you combined This House Is Not For Sale or part of it with part of
mate, it'd be
an absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it would 100%. Yeah, 100%. Last one, last song. Yeah. Are you counting just like official album tracks, or can you have like B-sides and demos and that?
No, I include the B-side. Are you going to say I Will Drive You Home?
No, Dirty Little Secret.
Oh yes, what song?
Yeah,
that's their best ever B-side.
I think it's up there definitely.
That not only should that have been on an album, that should have been a single. That is a fantastic song.
Yeah, I bought when it was 2005. So with like my pocket money, I was only 12 at the time. I bought the normal standard version, and my brother had bought the deluxe edition, and I didn't realise there was 2 extra songs. So I think one was Unbreakable and the other one was Dirty Little Secret. And my brother was like, have you listened to track 14? I was like, track 14? I've only got 12. He was like, oh no, stick this on. Played it, and I ended up going out and buying the deluxe version as well, just for that song.
It's crazy to think that wasn't included in the album. But then there's been a few incidents like that over the years, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has.
The famous story of Living on a Prayer. John wasn't keen on that, wasn't he, after it's recorded?
I could name I could name a top 5 B-sides in the most post 2000 because there's been that many that should have been on albums. Mainly like the crush of like Stay. I think Stay's an incredible song.
What about is it Nothing? Was that?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, on the Have a Nice Day. Yeah, that's, to be honest, actually, that could be in my top 5.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too similar to the actual title of the album to be included on the record, but still a great song.
Do you mean it's too similar to I Am?
Have a Nice Day. I think.
Oh, really?
Too similar sounding to Have a Nice Day. I can imagine that there was probably a choice between the two to include on the record. But again, it's another one that should have been released in some form.
I'd have had it on the album. Yeah, I think that's one of the best ballads, to be honest. I think John sounds absolutely incredible on it, and we've only got like an unfinished version of it.
It's a rough copy.
Yeah, I think he sounds absolutely incredible on it. I love the outro. I love like when his voice is like quite like distance, and then like he screams on it as well. I think it's an amazing song. That I completely forgot about that. I'll have to listen to that. It's been a while.
There's a few gems like that, isn't there, that haven't released?
Yeah.
I like Postcards from the Wasteland.
Yes, yeah. I like that as well. There's some very good ones. I put up the other day Touch of Grey. It's definitely not in my top 5, but I was just listening to it and I was just thinking like that. It reminds me of like a bounce B-side, and I'd have loved to have. I'd have loved that to have been on a album somewhere because I think it's better than some dull songs that they've had on in the past.
Which track is that? Sorry,
Touch of Grey.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's nothing fantastic, but it's just a bit different. I think it's just like the piano. It's got obviously it's got a nice piano to it and stuff. I just think it's a missed opportunity to do something slightly.
It's another example of them just coming at things from a different angle and actually working though.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I forgot to include You Want to Make a Memory in my top 5. That would definitely be in there. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but first time I heard that, I was like, wow, this is different.
Yeah.
And I still like it now. What are we, 11, 12 years on?
Yeah, my brother, I remember listening to that. He got like a snippet sent to him of Make a Memory when it first got released, and I instantly loved it, and I think that was the start of him disliking the band for some reason.
Really? I remember those snippets. I got Memory and I Love This Town.
I Love This
Town. And I thought this is going to be a very different album.
do you know the only criticism, because I think Make a Memory, the only criticism I've got is it shouldn't have been the first song. Oh, Any Other Day, I forgot that in my top 5.
Yeah, a great song. That's a song that's got a great outro line as well.
Yeah, do you know what? That top 5's getting bigger and bigger.
Exactly. We should have prepared better.
Yeah, I'd like as much as people criticise the post 2000, myself included. There's still genuinely fantastic songs, in my opinion, and I mean,
no doubt,
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's what The Water made me as well. Bloody hell!
Every album has at least 3 or 4 really outstanding songs. There's no denying that. It's just a few of them are a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Lost Highway up in front of me now, and for instance, is there a need for The Last Night and One Step Closer? On Crush, is there a need for Mystery Train and She's a Mystery?
I always love Mystery Train, never like She's a Mystery.
Agreed. Yeah, Mystery Train is a great song.
Yeah.
But then 2 or 3 tracks later, you hear
exactly.
A carbon copy that's not quite as good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think like, imagine if they changed She's a Mystery for Stay.
Yep.
You know, a simple change like that could have made, all the difference on that album for a lot of people. It's mad.
Or I Could Make a Living Out of Loving You.
Yeah.
Fresh demo. That's a good song.
Yeah.
That could have made the cut. Should have made the cut, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's mad how, as you said before, how everyone's got different tastes. Yeah, it's sad, really, as you said, because some albums could have been, as you said, if you've done Burning Bridges and This House Not for Sale together, Jesus Christ, what an album that would have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Six or so songs from Burning Bridges, 6 or so from, the best 6 from each. You'd have had one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best albums, because as I said, I love, some of the songs I picked there were from Burning Bridges, so you'd have had a fantastic album there.
Yeah, agreed, definitely.
Last question. I think I already know the answer, just by judging what you've been saying. What's your favourite album?
It's got to be These Days, hasn't it?
Yeah, same.
I mean, that whole period, because obviously you had the greatest hits released that had Always and Someday I'll Be Saturday Night, 2 of their strongest songs, and then straight into These Days, which I don't think there's a bad song on that album. I think each of the band members was on the top of their game at that point. They looked cool. The production was fantastic. I just think it's a shame that the album perhaps wasn't I mean, it went to number 1 over here. It's one. It wasn't a hit, but I don't think it wasn't a stratospheric kind of album like Slippery When Wet or New Jersey. If it had been, we may have got more music like that. Instead, I think they took a different road after that point. Never worked with that producer again. That's a shame, but it's an album for the diehard.
Oh, it genuinely is.
Anytime you get one of those tracks live, I mean, that's a bonus, isn't it?
Do you know what? Out of it genuinely is my favourite album. I've only heard 2 songs, I think, from it.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah.
In all the times you've seen them live?
Yeah. These Days and Diamond Ring. They're the only 2.
Oh, that's... yeah, again, like, they need to dust a few of those off.
Yeah.
Because...
But you know what? I like, you know, on this European tour, why don't they bring back, like, Something for the Pain, acoustic again?
Yeah, I saw that live during the O2 residency. And Richie kind of messed up his little verse that he got. He kind of got the words the wrong way around, which was quite amusing.
Yeah.
But that would be great live.
Yeah, it would.
Any track on that album would be great live, to be honest with you. Hey God is an incredible opening to an album.
Yeah,
That's probably their strongest opening, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This Ain't a Love Song is amazing. Damned, fantastic. It's Hard Letting You Go. Diamond Ring. There's not a bad song on it. It's just brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It is. It's an absolute masterpiece. I think it's by far the best, and I don't think it'll ever be topped.
No, you know, anyone that criticizes the band and says they're too commercial or poppy or whatever, you just point them in the direction of These Days.
Yeah.
Because you can't argue songwriting or the musicianship on that album. It's just brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It is. It's a fantastic album. Right. Well, cheers for your time there. I've actually enjoyed that again, to be honest with you. I planned for it to be in my head like half an hour long, but it's been, I don't even know, over an hour, is it, or something?
Yeah, I've lost track, mate, but it's been good.
No, it has.
I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no, anytime, to be honest with you. As I said, you know, it's been a bit of a nightmare this week with the laptop, but, you know, if people, well, what I'm going to start doing is almost like sections, so I'm not repeating like the same stuff over and over with different guests. So, you know, I could do like, you know, 83 to 87 or something one week, and, you know, just try and mix it up a little bit as time goes on. But with it still being fairly new, I think it's good to just speak about the band of what you think, to be honest with you. Yeah,
no, it's been really enjoyable. And like I said, I enjoyed listening to the first one you did, and look forward to the rest as well, because it's good to hear other people's opinions on the band who
to carry on. The sound's gone off a little bit again there.
Yeah, losing you slightly there.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I plan to carry on, and I'm enjoying doing. So, as I said, with a bit more structure, I'll start getting a bit more equipment. It'll be good to progress from here, and obviously, when I do the sections, it'd be good to have you on for that if you're ever up for it.
Yeah, of course, anytime, mate. Just send me a message, and good luck with it already.
Cheers, mate. I'll let you know when this is posted then, and obviously keep you informed on anything else.
Great stuff. All right. All the best, mate.
See you later. Bye.